podcast where people reach their goals and develop confidence one mind shift habit at a time. Let's join our host, certified coach Christina.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with Coach. I am your host, certified mindset and confidence coach, Christina Callaway. I help athletes, parents, and coaches develop the confidence they need to achieve their goals both on and off the field of play. I'm excited about this particular episode of Conversations with Coach because it is all about and for us coaches. Did you know that this week, ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation, is recognizing Coaching Week? Yes, it is true. Launched in 1999, International Coaching Week is a week-long global celebration that educates the public about the value of working with a professional coach. And it acknowledges the results and progress made through the coaching process. And this year, the ICW, which is the International Coaching Week, it returns to reimagine the future. And it encourages everyone to open themselves up to new learning and experiences. And the coaching community and those who are interested in becoming coaches or just interested in finding more information on coaches, they're invited to join ICF from May 16th through the 22nd to celebrate the power and the impact of professional coaching. And you can find out more information about ICF's International Coaching Week by visiting their website. And I'll provide you more information as it relates to that. And I am so excited to be joined by my guest, who's going to even share more information about the events that are going to be happening this week, and just for us to have a conversation a little bit more about coaching. My guest that's joining me today is Kathryn Brooks. She is the CEO of She's Her Own CEO and Kathryn Style Boutique. She is a certified master coach and a professional success expert. She is the 2022 President-elect and Membership Director of the ICF Georgia Charter Chapter, and she is an active member of the International Coaching Federation. Kathryn regularly shares success tips for college students and aspiring entrepreneurs in the media and has appeared on Fox 5 Atlanta, First Coast Living, NBC 12, Atlanta and Company on 11 Alive, Fox 24 Charleston, News Channel 9 in Chattanooga, Atlanta Plugged In on CBS 46, and Talk of Alabama on ABC 3340, among others. Kathryn has deep experience in corporate finance, brand management, and marketing operations. Prior to her entrepreneurial pursuits, she held leadership roles of increasing responsibility in finance and marketing operations at the Coca-Cola Company. She holds an MBA in finance from Mercer University and a bachelor's in business administration with minors in economic and music from Oglethorpe University. In addition, Kathryn sits on the President's Advisory Council at Oglethorpe University and served on the Board of Visitors of the Georgia Gwinnett College School of Business. She's a regular keynote speaker on the topic of professional success and is a sought-out mentor for both college students and aspiring professionals. And she has stopped by Conversations with Coach to share some of her insights with us. I would like for you to put some love in the chat and help me welcome our special guest, Kathryn Brooks. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi, Coach Christina. Thank you for having me on Conversations with Coach.
Thank you so much for joining us. I am super excited that you are here, and I am so looking forward to our conversation about International Coaching Week.
Wonderful. Yes, it's an exciting week for us coaches, as I know you feel the same way.
I
And
do.
yeah, well, thank you for that introduction. And you laid it out so beautifully, just talking about what ICW is. We're in 2022, so it's actually starting May 16th and runs through the 22nd. And actually, just a little bit of history. International Coaching Week started in 1999. So it's been going on for a while. The International Coaching Federation was actually formally established in 1995. So this week started about 4 years after the inception of ICF.
Very good. Yes, I am excited about it because since formally getting my certification and deciding that I wasn't just going to use coaching as a hobby anymore, I have this voracious appetite for educating and learning all that I can about the coaching world. And as we know, right now, it's not a regulated industry, but you and I both believe that we are fastly approaching that, and just really excited about the things that ICF International, as well as our charter chapter here in Georgia, all of the things that we are working so hard behind the scenes for current coaches and coaches that are coming in so that they can all be a part of what is on the horizon. And I would like for you to share with our viewing audience, and then for those who are going to be watching this on replay, I would like for you to share with them how it all started for you.
Oh, for me as a coach. Oh, well, thank you for that question. I had a long career at the Coca-Cola Company in that corporate finance, corporate marketing world. It was a very rich career. I learned so many things. And during that career, I had the opportunity to manage very diverse teams and very different teams, very dedicated teams supporting different key areas of the company. And what I found is that I love people development. I love career planning, personal, professional development. And I took that part of my role very, very seriously, and really saw, kind of managing and leading people as something that, raises all boats. It's something that when a leader or a manager, however you define yourself in an organization, really invests in his or her people, it's not only a benefit to that employee, but it benefits the leader. It benefits the organization. It just creates more opportunity for success just overall. So as I held various roles, I really developed a passion for seeing others succeed. And I had started my own business called She's Her Own CEO on the side. And it started out as a retail business where I was selling just some accessories, apparel, coffee mugs, and I still do that today, under that brand of women's empowerment, women's leadership. She's her own CEO. And so as that message blossomed, I'll say, it turned into more of a platform for encouraging women of all backgrounds, not only like stay-at-home moms, but people that are already in the corporate world, people that are looking to transition to owning their own business. We all have to be empowered ourselves, hence the name She's Her Own CEO. So as that brand grew, I began getting more involved with kind of a consulting practice. And as we know as coaches, consulting is very different than coaching.
Yes.
It's a different talking modality or discipline than therapy. And likewise with mentoring, advising, kind of all those things that corporate America expects from its leaders. So as I went down that path, I wanted to focus on classical coaching, and hence kind of that emphasis on where I am today. So thank you for asking.
You are so welcome. Yes, you definitely have had a career that has spanned across many different platforms and organizations, but although they are different, they are connected. And I can see how it did lead you into the coaching. And you are a certified master coach. And what I know of is that there are the different levels. Could you take a moment just to share with the audience what that certification means and what the different certifications that are available?
Yes, and that is such a great question, and it's also a great question for any consumers of coaching out there. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about ethics, in our conversation, but it's such a key piece as a potential client to know what certification or designation that your coach holds. As you mentioned, coaching is a unregulated industry, let's just be honest. And that's the beauty and the foundation and the exceptionalism that ICF provides, because it is the gold standard international credentialing federation. It's globally known, it's globally recognized. And for anyone that's looking to understand what a coach is or what a coach can do for them, it's really important to understand the training and the background and kind of the approach and the commitment to excellence that your potential coach holds, because that is going to directly inform the quality of coaching that you receive as a client.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. Now, some of the things that it does get a little bit confusing, I know, for some individuals who are just entering into the coaching and they're trying to determine the certification. Some of them are misled to think that ICF actually does the certification and the training, and help them to understand exactly what it is that they can get from ICF versus what they need before they come to ICF to get their credentialing. So there's certification and there's credentialing.
Yes. Yes. So ICF, and this was something I had to spend some time really understanding for myself. And don't want to speak for you, Christina, but I'm assuming it takes a little bit of time to understand the process and everything you're describing. It's a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
ICF does not provide the direct training. ICF does provide a list of credentialed schools, training centers. Some of them are within universities. Some of them are standalone businesses. There's a coaching school for everyone, depending on, we're all going down this path and are trained as whole life coaches. We are trained as coaches to be able to coach typically any environment, any situation. But some coaches prefer to become specialized in certain areas. So the ICF provides this tremendous resource on its website that you can look up a school. It can be remote, it can be in person, it could be in Europe if you're in the US, and vice versa. I mean, you can just pick whatever you want. And ICF certifies those schools. So they're in the process now of changing some of its nomenclature in the certification process. It's essentially the same steps, but they're moving toward more of a simplified nomenclature, a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3.
Yes.
So that's intended to help communicate everything we're sitting here talking about today, Christina.
Yes, exactly. I know that I've talked with several individuals and they are just very confused. They're like, oh, well, I thought that I could get trained through ICF. And I'm like, no, you can identify which training programs have been credentialed through ICF. And then after you get your training, then you can get your accreditation. So if you will, whether you're an ACC or, and then now we're getting into some other things that people are like, well, what do those acronyms even mean? But before we dive off into that, I want you, if you don't mind, could you share with them who can benefit from having a coach and how do you even choose one?
Oh gosh, another great question, Christina. And I know on your channel, you cover the gamut of coaches, and you yourself are an amazing coach, and you have a sports background and everything you do. So the answer to that question is anyone can benefit. Anyone, literally. We mentioned a few earlier, but someone that's looking to retire, there's something now referred to as creative retirement. Maybe someone doesn't just want to go home and be passive. They want to continue to contribute to society even after their corporate career. How can they best do that? Well, a coach can help that person explore, understand what's possible for them. someone, obviously sports, athletes, they live and breathe coaching, they need that. And you're certainly the expert in that arena. People that are looking to transition from, one field to another. I see a lot of stay-at-home parents that are either looking to become small business owners or looking to maybe start a remote job, kind of getting back into the workforce. So our job as coaches is to help our clients see what the possibilities are and to see what those transferable skills are, to kind of, treat the client's world and their life as a whiteboard, that let's just throw everything out there and see what's possible. And then let's see how and why, not necessarily why, how we can make it happen. So really anyone can benefit from a coach.
Absolutely. And I agree with you on that. It really does run the gambit on who can benefit from having a coach. I think if you're asking the question, can I benefit from having one? The answer is yes. And in terms of how to choose one, I think that is going to be my response to that question is choose the coach the way that you would choose your physician, vet.
Yes.
And look for the things that you are seeking the answers to. And as you laid out in the beginning, look for that individual who, even though it's not a regulated industry, look for that person who has invested into their education. And where did they get that education from? Because all things aren't created equal. And it's okay for you to ask, where did they get their training? Where did they get their certification? Or if they do have their certification, which brings up another question that I have for you in terms of we as coaches, or those of us who hang the sign up on our door or window or on a wall that says that we are coaches. In some of the circles that I am in, there is this, I wouldn't really call it a debate. There really is a discussion that goes on. It is not necessary to have a certification. And I am on the side of just because something doesn't require you to have it, you yourself should take the pride in getting it because of the educational benefits. What would you say to the individual seeking to become a coach that on the side of certification or not to get the certification? How would you respond to that?
I think both of us are maybe biased, and I think I know your answer as well. I would recommend, just personal opinion, to pursue the certification, to pursue the training, to pursue the certification. And it shows, as you just said, it shows the commitment to the process. It shows the commitment to your clients. It shows that a certified coach is committed to the utmost in ethical standards. With regard to confidentiality, with regard to removing themselves from any kind of conflicts of interest, from records retention, from, explaining the process of what coaching is versus what it isn't. And all those things kind of are encapsulated in the formal training. Yes. So if you're committed to becoming a coach, I think it's recommended. I really do. I think it will benefit you and your own personal growth as a coach, as well as your clients. And another thing I wanted to add to that is that as coaches and part of the coach training, we are all coached ourselves a lot.
A lot.
Yes. So, and that was an interesting thing as I entered coach training was, wow, I'm actually on the receiving end of this. And what that does is it not only deepens the learning and the understanding of the coach in training, but it really puts in that coach in training's mindset, the client experience. Yes. And having experienced the client experience so many times, it really, not to say force in a pejorative or a bad way, but it really forces the potential coach to be client focused and client
Yes.
driven and be focused on quality and ethics, because having been in that chair as the client, you know what you want. You want your records, treated confidentially.
Correct. Correct. And that's a very good segue, because of the fact that when it does come to coaching, the code of ethics and coaching, because you've been sharing with it, let's go ahead and go there.
Yeah.
Why is it important to you as a client and as a consumer?
Number one is that word we keep talking about. It's ethics. It is just, it encompasses, I mean, in any regulated profession obviously has standards of ethics. The coaching industry, as we said, is not formally regulated like on a state, like a CPA would be, or a physician. But the International Coaching Federation does provide that structure and that framework. So as a consumer or a potential client, when you hire a coach that has that ICF logo, that designation, that title, you're assured that that person is carrying out your best interests. The code of ethics is made available on its website. I would almost say that every coach in his or her contract with you as a potential client should be including that link, so that you can go and review it and really understand what those standards are that coach is being held to.
Yep, that is exactly right. And I do remember going through my training that we spent an enormous amount of time on the code of ethics. That was pretty much, for lack of a better term, drilled. It was, the code of ethics was drilled. It was, the record keeping was drilled. And that client experience was drilled, because it's very easy to be coach focused and not really understand the ramifications, the legal ramifications that can come when these other things are not shared or taught. And so I say that for the audience that is viewing, and for any who will be watching this on replay. If you are thinking of becoming a coach, and you've had anyone telling you, oh, it's not necessary for you to get a certification or anything like that, I hope you will take what Kathryn and I have shared with you as it relates to the code of ethics and any legal ramifications. If you are going to be purchasing insurance, which I hope as a coach you do have insurance, because if you're doing anything corporate, I will tell you right now, corporate clients won't give you a look, or many won't give you a look, if, first of all, you don't have that certification, and secondly, if you don't have insurance. They will not, because they have to protect themselves. And you as a coach, you should want to protect yourself too, because you are dealing with individuals and their personal lives. And so I hope that we are sharing enough information with you for this International Coaching Week coming up, that you will put this in your thoughts when you're making that decision. So now that we have helped them to understand what the importance is of having a coach, how to choose one, they've understood now, oh, the code of ethics, that's really important. Someone is saying, okay, now I'm making all of this investment into myself as a coaching professional. What is the return on investment of hiring a coach? I'm that client. I've made a decision. I'm doing this. I'm all in, and I've been checking, and coaches are pretty pricey out here. And it does run the gamut. There's a range depending on who, so first of all, they've got the question of, why is there such a range? And number two, what is the return on investment of hiring a coach?
Well, part one, the range is like in the industry. I'm not really committed to saying that quality is directly driven by the price point. You may have a relatively new coach that's fully trained, fully accredited, that may just be building up his or her portfolio of clients, and maybe they're offering a great deal. So you may get a fantastic coach that may be newer to the industry, that may be charging on the lower end of the scale. That could be a fabulous opportunity, depending on where you are as a client, and kind of that rapport and that connection you have with that person. But yeah, there's a tremendous range. And as far as companies purchasing coaching as a product and as a service for their employees, there's a relatively recent study that says that around 40% of Fortune 500 companies are engaged in purchasing coaching services. And then there's actually a greater percentage, 60% of overall companies outside of the Fortune 500 that are also participating in coaching. And the research is showing that there is a return on investment of anywhere between 500 and 600%.
Mm-hmm.
So for every $1 that's invested, those companies can expect 6x back, 5 to 6x back. Taking that a step further, sometimes quantifying those results can take place, in the form of a P&L, in supply chain efficiencies, kind of that monetary quantification. But there's so many qualitative things that companies are finding that benefit how they benefit itself by investing in its employees through coaching. And those benefits can be anywhere from, increased employee engagement, increased brand reputation and respect for the brand. It can be around, diversity goals, or, kind of inclusion and social type activities within the organization. So there's a lot of things that can't be quantified, but they show up. They show up in performance results.
Yes.
They show up in kind of the how. So the what, or the financial results, maybe the efficiency improvements, the better management of maybe a production team, just as an example. But they also show up in the how that work got done.
Yes.
Is the teamwork strengthened? Or your top performers being retained?
Yes.
So a lot to consider.
It's a lot to consider, and it's so true. I know in the organization that I work for, we actually have a coach through our organizational development. We have over 1,700 employees, and we only have one coach. It's not enough. It is not enough. And so I will tell you that I'm also a coach for a club that I am a member of. And there are just so many opportunities out there. So for anyone who is a current coach, or anyone who is considering being a coach, just also know that there are more ways than one-on-one coaching. There's more ways than group coaching. There's a multiplicity of ways that you as a coach can be used in the workforce, and also in many other ways. So you broaden your mind as it relates to this skill set. And to answer that question of the range of pay, or that coaches do charge, to Kathryn's point, you're going to have some who have been doing it for a really long time. You're going to have some who are just starting out. And then, unfortunately, you're going to have some who see this as a very lucrative way of making money. And unfortunately, they are going to be the ones that may be overcharging, if I could say that. But if you do your due diligence and you do your homework, if they are serving the clients that they say, do not be afraid to ask for references. For many of them, they should have that already posted on their websites. And don't be afraid to ask them, do you have a references that I can check? And they should be happy to provide that information to you, so that you can vet them, because in anything, we should be able to vet them. Kathryn, I want to ask you, before we wrap things up, I know that for ICF Georgia, we do so many fun things. Even during the pandemic, we were able to virtually do quite a bit, keep things going. I mean, there was a point in time where we had to kind of regroup to get things on a virtual way. But we have something very fun coming up that we are going to be able to do in person that we have not been able to do for a really long time. And I'm super excited about it because it's coming up on, I believe it is Friday, May 20th.
You got it.
Yeah, do you want to share that with the audience?
Yeah, thanks for bringing up ICF Georgia, which is a charter chapter within the overall global ICF organization, and we have a very engaged chapter. We're actually ranked number 2 in the Southeast, and the Southeast is very large in ICF terminology. So we're up there. And Christina plays. I'll just brag on her a little bit. She co-leads one of our primary and highly attended communities of practice. So she does a tremendous job, and that's actually how we, full disclosure, got to know each other. And I'm honored to work with her. As far as International Coaching Week, yeah, we decided as a board that this would be a great time to try out the getting back together in person thing. And so this Friday, there's going to be an event, kind of like a happy hour, Taco Friday at Tin Lizzie's Cantina, north of Perimeter Mall. So please check out our website if you're not already on our mailing list, icfgeorgia.org, and you'll see all the details there. There's a great opportunity to connect with other coaches. There's a $10 registration fee, but once you attend and you're actually there, you will get a $10 drink. So it will pay for itself. You're basically prepaying, and you'll reap that reward at the event. But we'll love to see everybody there.
Yes, I'm so excited about that. When I saw that it was going to be in person, I was like, so exciting. I can't wait. So I will definitely be there. And I know that a friend of mine is also going to be there. She's thinking about getting involved in the chapter. So I told her, I was like, you definitely should. That'd be really good. And so, and for anyone else who's watching and you're not here in Georgia, or maybe our chapter isn't as close or convenient for you to attend, go on to the ICF Georgia website and find a chapter that might be closer to you, or go on to the ICF International website and find your local chapter and get involved, because the more involved you are on your local level, it helps the international level too. And we feed off of each other's energy, and it helps our individual businesses. And it's a whole lot of fun. And I just encourage you to do that. And before we close out too, Kathryn, let's share with everyone the website for ICF International.
So coachingfederation.org. Coachingfederation.org. You can also just go to your favorite search bar, your favorite search tool, and just put in ICF, International Coaching Federation. It comes up. It's highly ranked in search results. You shouldn't have a problem finding it. And to Christina's point, if you don't live in Georgia, you're obviously welcome to join us. We have a lot of members that actually do not, or maybe formerly resided in Georgia, now live out of state. But most of our events, I mean, we're doing one in-person event this week. We're largely going to remain virtual. We have a couple of other in-person things on the table for the remainder of the year. Spoiler alert. But if you would like to join us, we would love to have you. And you're welcome to also join multiple chapters. That's a fun fact.
That's exactly right. I remember we had, how I first got involved with ICF Georgia was I attended a very fun virtual event called Coach a Latte. And there is a Coach a Latte coming up on May 19th. It's from 8:30 to 9:30, and it is a virtual conversation event, and it's rapid fire. Just get ready. You are put in breakout rooms with other coaches. You share information about one another. You exchange. You're in those breakouts for a certain period of time, and then you're switched and you're put in other breakouts. But it's super fun. You're networking, and you're just learning about each other, and you're making friends. And hopefully when I go to this in-person event, then I'll be able to meet them in person. So join ICF Georgia at Coach a Latte on the 19th at 8:30 in the morning. You do have to register for that. There is no charge for the
No
Coach a
charge.
Latte. And then also it kind of runs into our kind of this month, it kind of runs into our community of practice leadership practice. But you're also invited to participate with that this month with us as well. So we have two things going on, Coach a Latte, and we also have the leadership community of practice, where we are going to have Rainier Loam. She's going to be presenting Aspire, 7 Essential Emotions for Leading Positive Change, no matter where you are. So you've got two events to choose from for ICF Georgia for this month, both virtually. So ICF Georgia is where it's going on. So I don't know what anybody else is doing, but we sure do have our act together over here. Kathryn, it has been wonderful having you here. I appreciate you so very much. And she did speak briefly about her own. She's her own CEO. And I do a call to action. And I'm going to put this in the show notes, so you don't have to worry about remembering any of this, because it'll be in the show notes for you. But you can find, and please do follow Kathryn on all of her social media platforms. She's on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at She's Her Own CEO. And I need my faithful followers. Her YouTube channel doesn't have its own customization because we need to help her get to that subscription. So I need you to go to subscribe to her YouTube channel. You can find it at She's Her Own CEO. Because if I were to put the URL in there right now, you wouldn't be able to find it, okay? So I'm going to actually put that URL in the show notes, but if I were to type it out here, it wouldn't make sense to you, okay? So all of this is going to be there. I want you to follow her, like her pages, and I want you to reach out to her and do a clarity call with her. Her website, where you can get that information, is Yeah, I did it right. I was going to say, did I spell that wrong? Okay, because I was going to correct it. You know, this is live, so everything is fair game here. She's Her Own CEO, and that's where you're going to be able to find her. And I can't let you out of here, Kathryn, without doing this one final thought. And this is what I do with all of my guests. What is the one mindset shift that you would like to leave with the audience for this International Coaching Week?
Going back to She's Her Own CEO, where we talk about being a leader of yourself before you can be a leader of others. And I think coaching is so focused on developing oneself in every regard, that to be that leader that you want to be, to lead others as a leader of a family, a leader in an organization, you need to lead yourself. So I would recommend invest in that coach and lead yourself first.
I absolutely love it. And so there you go. Coming straight from a certified master coach, her final thought for you is to become a leader of yourself. Kathryn, it has been my pleasure and my honor for you to be a guest here on Conversations with Coach. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Coach Christina, and congratulations on your podcast and all of the media you're receiving. Your magazine cover as well is beautiful. Wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to say goodbye to my guests, and I'll be right with you.
Bye.
And there you have it. As we go throughout this week, which is International Coaching Week, I want you, if any questions, if you're thinking about becoming a coach, if you're thinking about hiring a coach, whatever that might be, you can reach out to Kathryn. You know you can reach out to me. But make sure you're making the right decision for you in this moment. You know where to find me on all of my social media platforms because you're already doing it. And I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you sharing all of my social media with all of your friends too. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Christina Mindset Coach. And I would greatly appreciate you checking out my relaunched brand new website, christinacc.com, and let me know what you think. And I'm going to be adding some new blog stories for you too. Sign up for those as well. And until next time, I want you to remember, life is only as good as your mindset. Until then, make it a great one.
Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Coach. Please be sure to follow Coach Christina on all of her social media platforms. And remember, life is only as good as your mindset.